Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 18th of October. So let's start off looking at the risk events for, actually I'm just looking at the 10-year treasuries and looking at the yields here. They're pushed up a bit yesterday, Friday, looking a bit on the higher side. Across the 1.6 area, which explains the sort of dollar strength that's maybe sitting there at the moment. In terms of news this week, let's go to let's look at today's news. There's not a great deal here. We've already seen a GDP fall for China there. Industrial production later on at 2:15 is it for today. We do have some numbers this week. Later in the week, actually on Friday, we've got the services and manufacturing data, which will be come under a bit more focus, I guess. But at the moment, it's well, quite day-to-day planned. Right, let's have a look at the markets themselves, starting off with the currency markets and starting with the euro. Now, with that bit of strength coming through, we saw very little action. I mean, Friday it was the smallest buy I've seen for a hell of a long time. What was the range on that? 30 pips, 31 pips the whole of Friday. No wonder you couldn't pull anything out of this one. Today, well, we've already seen 33 pips. We've had more today than we've seen on the whole of Friday, but I'm not suggesting we're going to see a massive day today. But it is selling off at the moment. Lower highs being confirmed on the 4-hourly, and it does look a tad on the weaker side, but it's already down to its S2. Whether it will hang in here, hold up, we'll see. It's sort of through its weekly pivot. Arguably it's not touched its daily pivot there above, so there is a potential target if it starts bouncing up there, but already moved quite so far. We'll see if it breaks down through this 200. Yes, it's got some more legs. I never like it when it's already done such a range, and okay, it's only 30 pips, and yep, it could have another 30 in the tank or so. We'll see, but not the best of starts for a day with very thin volatility. Taking the pound though, the pound had a good old day on Friday, pushing up strongly. Today it's pulled off at the moment. Its weekly pivot has a target. If it was looking at this again, I can see a lower high on the lower time frames here, and the weekly pivot could be a bit of a target if it just keeps on selling. We'll see where it is, but it's sitting around its daily at the moment. As I said, it's put that lower high. You can see it clearly on this time frame, looking a bit soft. Maybe post 8 o'clock, if it continues rolling over that weekly pivot, becomes a bit of a target. But it has been certainly stronger than some of the other markets against the dollar recently. Dollar yen. Well, the yen has been selling against the US dollar. This is US dollar yen, of course, so the US dollar buying, and we're seeing that through again, but it's, well, choppy where it's sitting at the moment, very range bound. Difficult one to work out. If anything, it looks to me like it could continue to the upside the way it's shaping up at the moment, but very messy relative to the others, losing its shape a little. But yeah, the way the consolidation at the top of the range, we could see, as I say, some continuation there. Aussie dollar. So the Aussie's just running out a little bit of steam at the moment. We've seen the commodity currencies this morning just coming off a little bit, and it's just running at the moment down towards its weekly pivot. In doing so, it has put a lower high in, so it's again, we're seeing these sort of lower highs through some of these markets. It didn't quite pitch up on that Sunday night movement. It's lower highs coming through. It'd be interesting to see if it finds some support off that weekly pivot. At the moment, it looks like it's pretty well targeted. We often see complete reversals come 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, 9 o'clock. It'd be nice to see if it sits in there and reverses, but for now, we're looking at the end of last week, the last couple of days there. Well, pretty much like the euro, it just consolidated as opposed to anything else, with very little tradable price action. It's quite nice when you go back and actually you see that it never did become tradable when you've not managed to get trades in some of these markets. as opposed to seeing, oh look, it did that afterwards. Here the Canadian dollar though, just looking at dailies, little uptick at the moment effectively. See where this goes. This has been the best performer, one of the best performers over the last couple of weeks, but at the moment again higher low, so it's inverted in the price action. It's inverted in terms of what it's done here, the higher lows through there. It has hit its weekly pivot. Looking for stronger markets maybe this afternoon. I'll look at this a little bit closer, or later morning, but for now, looking on the short side that would be, but at the moment won't try and fight against the upside movement. As I said, with those bond yields looking high, it looks like there's a bit sort of defensive action, dollar being bought. Right, cross pairs, euro yen. It's not a lot to discuss here at the moment. A lot of these pairs, they just consolidated. Similar picture to what we're seeing on the against the dollar. Sorry, it's euro yen, beg your pardon, I said dollar yen. Lower highs here, lower lows on the euro yen. Euro just a tad on the weaker side. This could turn around a bit and maybe be a bit of an option later, but at the moment looking soft there. Okay, so currencies, normal currencies not looking the best at the moment. We may have to wait a little bit for a bit more direction. Gold's put lower high in again here in terms of near term, and is selling off once again back into its range. Let's just come back out to the dailies. There we go. So it's back into that range it sat in for over a week, early part of the month. Not looking at all bullish here at the moment. In fact, it just looks like it could continue its route south, but it has been known to get into choppy periods, and maybe it's back into that choppy period. Nothing else to really mention on that. It's well out of shape for me. Oil's not been too disappointing and has continued pushing up. As I said, I wouldn't be totally shocked if we got towards $100 at some point, the way it's moving, but perhaps someone will step in and or a couple of countries will step in and do something more. But even with the threat of the US releasing some more of the reserves, it's not really doing too much here. It's continues to push up. It puts a big stress on the US government, the president there, with gasoline over $3 a gallon. No, I know. How can you live with that? But it does have a bad effect on the spending. It really does. So, well, we might see a correction at some point, but for now, technically, it's just looking upside and upside. The way it's shaping up at the moment, maybe if this retraces a little bit more, it will give me an opportunity on the long side later this afternoon. But for now, just letting it settle. Right, okay, let's have a look at the other markets then. If we can run through onto here, and we're onto the let's just look at the. I'm going to just look at the crypto first, very briefly. So Bitcoin, as suspected, where it consolidated over the weekend there as much as anything, sold off a little bit Saturday. Sunday's picked up a little bit and regained some of the losses it gave back then, and this morning it's on a positive note straight away, looking like that those prior highs may be broken. Very difficult. Someone asked me, how do you get into it when it's like this? It's very dangerous trying to buy just near the top, and I know it can break the top, but it's so risky. It could just as easy roll. It just depends on the overall sentiment of the market, what it's going to do, whether it's going to push on through. But looking at Ethereum's struggled a little bit more. It's the same sort of weekend as the Bitcoin, but struggling behind the prior highs there a little bit more, and also not breaking these highs here quite yet, but looking okay. It's certainly the second strongest in the markets. The rest, Ripple, just not looking like it's going to do anything too much at the moment. And card Dano that everyone wants me to look at always, it just continues to do nothing. So I'm going to leave it off the list in the future the way it's going. Okay, that's the cryptos. Let's have a look at the indices then. Now we've got 8 o'clock, click it in so we can see the markets. No surprise, Hong Kong market there. The CSI 300 sold off. I'm still waiting to see if it breaks down there, but nothing there from now. The Nikkei stalled overnight there. Great day up on Friday, and then well, as I say, it's stalled at the moment, a little bit off. The FTSE this morning, okay, Friday closed up pretty much highs. I was looking across this time frame. I could only see part of the story, and then realised that we weren't quite at the all-time highs. There's plenty to go. I was just looking at that on Friday, thinking, well, that's doing pretty well. Well, it is doing pretty well, and it looks like it could continue this route here at some point, but consolidating at the moment. Just come back to the dailies. DAX. So DAX just folding back off its daily 100 there, just selling back a little bit off the daily 100. It's just behind the curve somewhat, the DAX. The FTSE just helped by the commodity companies in the index, etc. It's being pushed up. CAC, well, that's off this morning as well. So all three European markets down a tad at the moment, so selling off a little bit. The S&Ps were up when I looked at them a short while ago, but even they've pulled back now, selling back a little bit. Now the S&Ps, I talked about this on Friday. They put the higher low in. Well, they continued through on Friday, pushing up there. How much more for? Is this just a little ABC correction before it rolls over? We'll see. I'm pretty open-minded the way this is sitting. It's pretty close to its prior high there. It's come pretty close to that prior high. Maybe it will rock back over, but it's in that no man's land for me at the moment. Excuse me. Right, okay, that's pretty much it for me today. I think it's going to be certainly a game on the currencies of sitting there waiting for a short while, see how things shape up. But I wish you a great day, and I'll catch you in the morning. Just a reminder, we've got 2 free days. If you're listening to this on YouTube, we've got 2 free days coming up this week in our trading room. If you want to join Charlie and myself for more analysis and trading, if there is any, the way these markets are going. But come and join us. I'll put a link at the bottom of this video. Thanks for now. Choking at the end of that.